Well, nothing beats preparation, practice, and repetition for becoming great at sales and being known as a rainmaker. However, we can accelerate our development and our earnings by learning from the best of the best via books, video training, one-on-one coaching, and more. In this video, we're going to walk through 8 books that have been most helpful for me in my selling career. First book up is going to be Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. Now, this book's really all about mindset, the mindset required to be successful in sales. And for that reason, I think this may be the single most important book we discussed today. The premise of the book, and it's so true, is either you're selling someone or they're selling you. So which one is it gonna be? When you check this book out, I would actually recommend that you buy the hard copy like this one, and also get the audiobook. What I love about Grant is he actually narrates his own audiobooks. Nobody has more energy than GC. So it's literally all of his books are just 8 to 10 hours of getting you fired up, putting you in the right mindset, ready to conquer and dominate your industry. And I couldn't think of a better single book to help new salespeople build the sales mindset. The second book that I recommend for new salespeople is going to be The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. And at its core, it's a how-to manual on the straight line selling system. So if you talk to anyone involved in selling financial services or financial products, you're going to quickly learn that the straight line selling system really underscores the core sales system and processes that these guys follow. Now, I love this book because Jordan's the straight line selling system he outlines is a no-nonsense, simple way to approach a sale. He talks about this idea that all sales are the same, they follow a straight line, and how it's our job as the salespeople to advance the sale. This is one of those fundamental concepts that has become extremely valuable to me, and it's helped bring a new sense of awareness and focus into my sales process, which is something, if you're new and you get honed in on of understanding where you're at in a deal, you realize what to avoid, and that you're laser focused on how do we advance this sale and move it forward. If you figure that out, you're going to make a lot of money and your managers are going to love you. Another powerful concept that he covers about this idea of looping. So when you get hit with that resistance or objection, he gives a really easy to follow framework for reaching what he calls the promised land, ultimately what we want, getting that meeting or closing that sale. So long story short, getting familiar with the straight line and looping is invaluable for getting in the habit of persevering in the sale and staying locked in on advancing the deal forward. Also in the book, there's some other really powerful nuggets too. Jordan's big on the importance of tonality, body language. This is probably one of the other big things that stuck with me from this book. He talks about how sales is nothing more than goal-oriented communication. We can get lost and caught up in these conversations with our prospects about sports, pets, families, etc. And what happens is we get a false sense of rapport, and ultimately, these could just lead us nowhere. It's just a waste of time. And so having a clear goal for each sales conversation and then charting the discussion on a course to achieve that goal ensures that we don't lose sight of why we're there and we actually achieve the goals we're measured on. So love this book. Definitely recommend that you check it out. Now, this one's focused on prospecting. So for any of you that are jumping into a full cycle sales rep role, generating your own leads and also closing those leads, or any of you getting into business development, so a business development representative. Also, you may hear this referred to as a business or a sales development role. The book that you're going to want to check out here is called The SaaS Method for Sales Development Representatives, How to Prospect for Customers. This is by the Winning Design Team. This is a great consulting firm. They've been a prominent name in software or SaaS sales for a long time. If you're out trying to get a job at one of these big name companies like a Salesforce or a HubSpot or something like that, these guys probably worked with them. This book outlines specific tactics and plays you can do and basically copy paste into your workflow to get you going as a new rep. The great part is, they put a lot of research, a lot of time and experience goes into this. So you're copy pasting industry best practices that will allow you to be successful. This book's very tactical. It's going to cover things like how to structure your emails, how many times to reach out to a lead, how to vary your touches, like when you should call versus when you should email or send a LinkedIn request or a message. It's really great for those of you looking to get to the granular nuts and bolts side of generating your own leads out of thin air. Next book I want to share with you guys covers a transformative concept. And when I learned this, it really formulated the sort of doctrine on how I approach sales. And this book is Gap Selling by Keenan. Gap selling is really about what I believe to be the most important part of the sales process, and that is discovery or fact finding. Sometimes you're going to hear people say things like learning about the buyer's needs or uncovering pain. These are all different ways to say the same thing. At the end of the day, this is discovery, and discovery is how we open the door to the close. Also, you're going to hear a lot of talk around building value in the sale. And effective at discovery is the way that we build value in the sale, because it's how we learn what the prospect cares about, what they're trying to achieve, what the root cause of their issues are. So this is a very, very important concept. And frankly, this book is just off the charts. I think it provides unparalleled detail into strategy and tactics, and truly a framework, an approach for conducting discovery and creating value in the sales process. You read it, you're going to learn how to ask the right questions to understand the prospect's current state or where they're at today. And you're also going to learn how to ask the right questions and the prospect to work with you to paint this vision of an ideal future state or the goal they want to achieve. And the whole idea here is once we understand where they're at, where they're trying to go, you use your product or service, position it correctly to frame it up as that bridge that will help get the client where they're trying to go. Because discovery is such an important skill for sellers to master, I decided to put 2 books focused on this step in this list. Now, the next book I want to recommend is called Discover Questions by Jeb Calvert. I love this one because it basically breaks down these discovery or fact-finding questions into 8 different categories using the acronym DISCOVER. What makes this book so great for new salespeople is it's broken up into 2 parts. The first part is really the strategy, the theory, like what it takes on how to approach discovery. So if you're brand new and have no idea what you're doing, part 1's awesome. Like it's going to teach you everything you need to know. It's going to get you in the right mindset, and this will give you the information you need to start presenting yourself as a trusted advisor in the sales process. Once you go through that, you move into the second half of the book, which is chock full of tactical examples on every single type of discovery question that we should be asking. She gives us sample questions to ask, when to use them in a sales process, and more. And this is one of those books, those blueprint type books that I really like. I think are really helpful for new people, where you can literally start copy pasting to your sales process, and frankly, even into your interview process if you don't have a job yet. And you'll be able to start seeing improvements immediately. Next book is excellent for any rep looking to understand the different types of objections in sales and how to use an adaptable framework for overcoming them. This book is rightfully titled Objections. This is the ultimate guide for mastering objections, the art and science of getting past no, by Jeb Blount. Book's freaking killer. Now, objections are just part of the sales game, and understanding how to distinguish between true objections and just reactionary responses from our prospects is really important. Understanding how to handle each type of reactionary response or objection, regardless of where we're at in the sales process, is key. Not prepared, we're going to be uncertain. We're not going to be confident, and prospects are going to see that. What I love here is Jeb does a great job of breaking these ideas down into a simple, straightforward way that can be applied to any selling environment. Doesn't matter if you're selling SaaS, pest control, roofing, solar, construction services, whatever. You can take the ideas in this book and apply them to your specific business. Next book I want to talk about is all about this idea of closing. Really everything hinges upon us closing the deal, and the best single book that I've read so far on closing is another one by our friend Jeb Blount, and this one is Inked, The Ultimate Guide to Powerful closing and sales, negotiation tactics that unlock yes and seal the deal. And that's exactly what this book allows us to do. So I love this one because as a new salesperson, you'll eventually learn that there's a shift during the sales process where we go from building value and selling our solution to closing. Ultimately getting that signature. And these are two different steps in the sales process, and making that shift can be difficult. They're totally different skill sets, but they're both roles and responsibilities for us as salespeople. So what I love about Inked is Jeb covers everything from the strategy, the mindset needed to approach the close, as well as tactical nitty gritty on how to handle stuff like pushbacks on price, handle negotiations with procurement. This is literally an A to Z playbook on closing and getting the signature. All the books we've talked about up to this point really focus on a particular area of selling. So we talked about mindset and discovery, closing. All these books really focus on one particular area, and that was intentional because these are sort of the best in class books in these areas that I've come across. But if I had to pick one single book that would be like the reference guide or encyclopedia on how to sell, I think this next book might be the one that takes the cake. And this one's a classic. It's from an OG, one of the guys that a lot of these other sales trainers, if you listen to interviews, they reference this guy. Last book I want to recommend today is How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. This is a little bit of an older book. You can see, I got the fully updated and revised version. I think this book originally came out in the late 80s or early 90s. But this one, it literally is How to Master the Art of Selling. He covers all areas of selling, different strategies and tactics. This is a great one to start with, maybe just give you a primer on all areas of selling. Or it could be, depending on your role and kind of your other skill sets, maybe this is one that you go through some of these other books and then read this one, tie a bow on, and really cement some of the other concepts that you've learned. So there you have it, guys. These are the 8 books that really can help new reps get good fast, really transform your life, and skyrocket your income and just make you more successful, happier, wealthier. So I really hope that you check them out, and be sure to let me know some of your recommendations, and I'll see you guys in the next video.